Hello all, welcome back to the tutorial of C programming for beginners. Hi, this is Sakthi Arun, M.Tech student from NIT Patna. I'm technically supporting the missile Ingeniator. Okay, so in my last lecture, I have given a basic introduction to operators and the classification of operators based on number of operands and the role of operators. Okay, so now in this lecture I'm going to explain you guys what is arithmetic operators and how we define them, how we declare them, okay, and their functionality. Okay, so all these things I'll be explaining in this lecture video. So arithmetic operators is basically comes under a classification of role of an operators. Okay, so arithmetic operators, it's actually operators like whenever we deal with an mathematical equations. Okay, whenever we give an mathematical expressions of addition of two number or incrementing of value of any numbers, or if you want to perform an multiplication or an division. Okay, so those type of operations is actually considered as an arithmetic operators. So the first thing is it's a unary. The first comes under is a unary operator. Okay, unary operators, it's nothing but I have explained in the previous lecture video also. So unary is actually performing an operations on a single operand. Say if I give plus, if I assign the value of a equal to, okay, so a equal to plus 3. Okay, so if I assign like this, then I just performing an operation on only this operand. Okay, or if I declare the value as minus 3, okay, then I am performing some operation on only this operand is 3. Okay, or if I want to declare the value of b equal to a plus plus. Okay, so if I do this, then what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to increment the value of variable, okay, a. Okay, so this type of performing operation on a single operand, or the next example is an minus minus, right? So if I give a minus minus, so what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to decrease the value of a variable a. Okay, so all these functionalities, it's actually performing only on a single operand. Okay, so unary operations are basically an operations it's done on a single operand. Okay, the next thing is an binary operator. So what is this binary operator? So binary operators, it's a by is actually performing on a two operands. Suppose if I want to multiply between the two numbers, then I say this is an by. Okay, so how we do it, like a starch b. Okay, this means a multiplication of two operand. Or if I say a slash b. Okay, so I'm doing division of two numbers. Or the next thing is an a modulus b. Okay, so this is an this more as like a binary operator, because we are performing the operation on two operands. The operands are a and then b. Okay, and the operator we have here is an 1. Okay, so why I name this is a binary operator? Because it's performing operation on two operands. Okay, suppose if we try to perform an operations also this plus and then minus, we can also do like a plus b and a minus b. Okay, so these things also comes under binary operators. Okay, so basically the binary operators is named because of its operations doing on two operands. Okay, so there is a basic rules for arithmetic evaluations. Whenever you declare any expressions, okay, about the expressions, operands and operators, I've already explained in the previous lecture video. Okay, so how we define expressions also I have explained. So when you declare an expressions, okay, in expressions basically how we evaluate it, it depends on the precedence also. So precedence basic of the basic explanation of precedence and associativity I have explained in the previous lecture video. Okay, so please go back and watch those videos for understanding what is precedence and associativity. Okay, let me come back to the topic. Here what we do is whenever we declare an expression, say I assign the expressions like a plus b starch c plus d. Okay, so what happens here is whenever we have an expressions, okay, instead considering an precedence value, what expressions we have to evaluate first is whatever inside the parenthesis. Okay, we need to evaluate these things. I'm sorry. Okay, so these things we have to perform at first. So then if it is a nested parenthesis there, like here one parenthesis and the next here, so at that time what we need to do is we have to evaluate the first sub parenthesis. Okay, and then after performing in C plus D, we have to evaluate the value C plus D with the multiplication of B. Okay, so this is how we perform an operations. So when you perform an evaluations, you need to consider how based upon the precedence value. Okay, so the based on precedence value, you need to first evaluate the multiplication or division, then plus and minus, then assignment. Okay, so all these things I have already explained. So the okay, in worst case, what if the expression contains only multiplication division? Okay, or if we have if it is contains only plus and minus. Okay, so at this time we try to follow the rule of associativity. Okay, so in associative, what we try to do is we try to evaluate in a left to right or right to left evaluations. Okay, so in case of multiplication division, we first perform from left and then we move to the right. Okay, so this is what happens. So if it's in case if there is a two data types is available, suppose I say like we perform an operation of 4 as an integer, and we try to perform with the operation of 3 plus 0 or 3.0. Okay, this is a float and this is an integer. So the results what we get it in the float. Okay, so this is what like a promotion, because we promote from integer to float as a result. Okay, so let me clear this for better understanding. Okay, say I divide with 4.0, it's divided by 3. Okay, so this 3 is an integer and 4.0 it's a float. So the result whatever coming will be as a float. Okay, though it's an integer, this value is promoted to float. Okay, so if you declare a variable which is a float, so the result will be displaying as a float value. Okay, so this is what we say as a promotion. The promotion is basically whenever there is a two different types of that, like integer and the float, so you evaluate to a higher value as a float. Okay, or if there is a float and double, then the result will be in the double. Okay, or if the value is double and long double, then again it's promoted to long double. Okay, so this is what we say as an promotion. Okay, so the next thing is in integer mode. Suppose you we dividing the value of 4 and 3. Okay, if 4 is an integer and 3 is also integer, and if you are assigning that value to an integer variable. Okay, so if say the assume this a is an integer. Okay, so instead of storing 1.33 to an a, as this a is an integer type, the value is stored as a 1. Okay, so this is what happens in an integer mode, where we store only integer value. Okay, if it is a floating mode, what happens here is when we declare 4.0 divided by 3.0. Okay, so what happens here is once the result is in the float type, this float value is stored to an variable a. Okay, so there is no more truncations happens here. If it is a mixed mode, what happens is it actually divides 4 by 3.0, it's 2 to 3. Okay, whenever you assign any values, okay, so that time based upon the value what you are assigning the left side, if it's an integer, then it truncate the value to 1, or if it is a float, it assign the same value. Okay, but what happens here is the result it's again promoted, because though it's 4 and this is it's an integer and this is float, the value is the result will be in the float. Okay, so this is what happens in a binary arithmetic operators. Say now I gonna give you guys one best example. Okay, so what happens here in this example is okay, so in a sub parenthesis, at first the 4 and 5 is evaluated. Okay, once this 4 and 5 is evaluated, then 4 plus 5 is 9. Okay, and then 9 is divided by 2. Okay, so after the 9 is divided by 2, we get the value as 4.5. Okay, But what happened here is, though the result comes in a 4.5, sorry, let me write it clearly. So 4.5, but a is an integer. Okay, it is integer, so this value is stored as an 4 in the odd value. Okay, so that's because a is an integer. Okay, so that is why the value is demoted to 4.5 to 4. Okay, and then what happens here is, once you do multiplication between 2 and 5.25, you get the value as 10.5, but again the integer is stores only 10. Okay, instead of 5. So now 10 plus 4 is assigned, it's calculated as an 14. Okay, that's what we got in the value of 14. Okay, okay, let me brief it again in the code blocks. Okay, what happens here is, let me run the program to show the output. Okay, so what happens here, we after the evolution of these equations, we got the value as 14. So how it's performed, first, okay, let me take the multi-line command. Okay, so whatever we define inside the multi-line command, it's all commented 1. So at first what happens is, it's 4 plus 5, because it's a sub parenthesis, so the value inside sub parenthesis is calculated first. So that value is assumed to 4, that calculated as 9. So this value is stored in our value. Okay, our value just for reading the value, but we can't assign any values to this memory. Okay, and then what happens here is, 9, it's divided by 2, so we get the value of 4.5. But a is an integer. Okay, so what happens is, it store only value as 4. Okay, it store value as 4. Okay, so now this is one type of operations. Next is, what happens here is, though there is a plus and then multiplication is there, multiplication has a higher precedence. So the first evaluation is 2 multiplying the value of 5.25. Okay, now this evaluated value is 10.5, but what happens here is, as in similar, like a is integer, so you store the value as 10. Okay, that's because a is integer. Okay, let me highlight it, because a is integer. Okay, so now finally the value is evaluated to 10 plus 4, that's equal to 14. So we have to get the value of 14 when we run the program. I re-executing again. Yeah, we got the value as 14. Okay, so what happens here is, though we declared then float values, but the result we got in the integer. Okay, so this from 4 by 2 or 2 by, the value got truncated. So this is named as an demotion. Okay, or truncation, this named terminology. Okay, thank you all for watching this video. In this lecture I have given some of the operators in the arithmetic. For further brief explanations and some more understanding concepts of arithmetic operators, I'll be explaining guys in the next lecture video. Okay, if you have any doubt or comment, please post it in the comment section. Okay, thank you all.